Hello, Pisces, and welcome to your November and December readings. It's so good to see everybody. I'm Nicholas Ashbaugh. As always, this forecast can be used for Sun, Rising, Moon, and Venus. Why don't we get straight into channeled messages for this 2-month period? So I took some notes here because I wanted to make sure I remembered everything. One of the things that came through loud and clear was know your worth and don't sort of like give away too much. For those of you that tend to over-deliver, whether it's in a relationship or at a job, I love that you're going above and beyond, but it does feel like in this period of time there's an encouragement to make sure that there is reciprocity, particularly if it involves intellectual property in the matter of work or work product, but just in general making sure that you're giving yourself enough so that you can thrive, so that there's more than enough left over for personal development, for just general happiness, and so that you can sustain this effort over time. So I'm all for giving, but make sure that it's not to the point of exhaustion. And also when we're looking at things like a negotiation or any sort of contract, you deserve maybe even more than you imagine. So push for that value and for that worth that's going to pay off in the long run. So that was one thing that I saw. Okay, the other thing, it's kind of interesting, the word performative came through. And there may be someone in your life that's kind of putting on a show, being more performative. Maybe there's a feeling from yourself that you have to be something that you're not, and lean into authenticity and encourage others to do the same. So wherever this performative energy is, make sure that behind that there's some real moments as well. Now, of course, if you're in like a public-facing job or theater or the arts, then this is just confirmation that I'm picking up on your energy. But there is also this flip side, which is make time to be real. Find people in your life that you feel that real energy with. The other message that came through has to do with communication, making sure that you're leaning into a more professional tone and not getting overly familiar with someone, because what I'm picking up on is a misconstrued word or phrase, and if you just err on the side of speaking less, listening more, and keeping things very professional, you should be fine. If somebody says something that trips you up, take a moment and pause and say, what did you mean by that? See if you can pick up on if it was just an error or if there was maybe something pejorative or dismissive about it. And if that's the case, then correct it and say, I prefer you not say that. So it's okay to stand up for yourself and speak up if necessary. But before going on the defensive, always check in. Sometimes people just aren't thinking. It doesn't excuse it, but if you know that there's not malice behind it, it becomes a teaching moment rather than an argument, right? And for you, it's just a chance to avoid a miscommunication. So that's for a select few, but I think I can save a lot of heartache just in thinking through the communication before going through it and asking yourself, is this if you ever have to ask yourself if it's the right audience, it's the wrong audience. So this is probably more if it's about a joke, gossip, or just saying something that you have a feeling that you shouldn't. Listen to that instinct, okay? And again, if someone else does the misstep, it's important to remind them that that might not be appropriate. With that being said, let's take a look at the final 2 months of this year for you, Pisces. All right, Pisces, please close your eyes and let's take a moment here to clear our thoughts and our energy that we might have brought into this reading. Imagine, if you will, that there's a circle of golden light around your body, and within that circle of light, you are safe, you are protected, and you're connected to Source. Let's welcome in angels, spirit guides, and ascended masters, and ask that the messages brought forth are for your highest good. All right. Let's get started. You received an amazing catalyst card. It says, manifesting is my superpower. And as I put here at the bottom, catalyst helps you spark change, make something happen. And with this one, The way to make it happen is to know and believe, because believing is seeing, not the reverse. When it comes to manifesting, you have to truly believe and know this is possible. This is happening. Now I'm going to find the synchronicity to bridge the gap between where I am and where I know I can be. Believe in yourself and know that your thoughts are very, very powerful. So are your words. So think positively and affirmatively about yourself and your sort of connection and gift to the world, but also use your words in a way that support you. Never speak in a way that is self-effacing or self-deprecating. If you can't say something nice about yourself, don't. I'm all for like working on yourself and looking at areas of opportunity, but especially during the first of these 2 months, I think November is magical. It's going to be so important for you to plant seeds of possibility and think about what you can, will, and are doing to make something happen, okay? So we will revisit this one as needed, but if you came to this reading thinking, Nicholas, I've never been able to manifest, that's the first thing that we want to change. This card is saying, in this moment in time, at the very least, manifesting is coming forth as an attribute, as your power. So embrace it, folks. All right, if you're new to my 2-month spread, here's how it works. We have all of November here, all of December here. This is the karma. This is your destiny sort of energy. And then we have takeaway cards for each month. In the middle, we have a bridge and a potential block. Let's get started with all of the karmic energy coming through. It's time to daydream and it's time to take stock. You have 2 of Wands, which generally speaking is very positive. In the upright position, it represents, just as we see here, being in that liminal space between the dream and the reality. 1 foot in, 1 foot out. And what you can do in this moment, I love that we see like this archway or gateway. You can say, look at how far I have come. Look at what I want to do. Which paths are in front of me? Which path might be the one of least resistance or most fulfillment? When you take stock, you can course correct as necessary. Sometimes we operate with blinders on, and when this card is reversed, you're not looking at all of the opportunities. You're focusing on the straight and narrow, and sometimes it is narrow-minded. So take a moment and dream a little bit. Dreaming, ideating, brainstorming, and asking yourself, what if, why not? And by doing that, you might find something that you'd forgotten. You may reveal a path, again, that is unexpected, more fulfilling, coming out of left field, but exactly what you need in this moment in time. You've set it up. You just have to tune in. So please take time to tune in. Karma will affect the entirety of this reading. So anytime you're feeling a little off kilter, a little unsteady, take a step back and review. You're closer than you think, and there may be more than one way to make this happen, okay? The 2 of Wands is a natural partner to High Priestess and Magician, and that is beautifully connected to manifesting as my superpower. So trust your instincts, take and make time to meditate and tune in, and by doing that, you're going to be a lot more effective and a lot more sort of like, you'll be using your time but more wisely, which is something I think we all want to do. All right, now let's ease into the first of the 2 months, November. And as we do that, we're going to begin with your past energy, the 7 of Swords in reverse. I will take the reversal for this. It's about learning from a disappointment or a deception in the past. There may have been someone or something that just didn't end up being all that you hoped it would have been. And what I get from many of you is that if it was a bad breakup, a bad job, or someone just lied to you, it created a little bit of a callus energetically. And you're very protective of yourself, as you should be. But know this, just because it happened once or twice in the past doesn't mean that it has to cyclically continue to happen. See the warning signs and don't ignore them. The next card is the 8 of Swords, so it's important that we talk about this. If you see a pattern that is like it was in the past, this is what I was talking about earlier. Cut it out when it's happening, whether it's someone that's talking and trying to get away with something or inappropriately taking advantage of your time, energy, or resources. You stop it in its tracks and say, no, this isn't what we discussed. No, I won't put up with this. And that's a boundary. And then they can go test someone else, right? This is also about being honest with yourself. So the overextension that I talked about, which can come from trying to people please, right? making sure that everybody's happy all the time. Sometimes it's better to say, I would love to do this, but I can't. I know you want me to perform this, action or job function, but it's not reasonable. So you can actually push back on something and say, but here's how it can be done. Here's what we can do to make it happen. But as it stands, this isn't feasible. That way, you're not going to get into the Seven of Pentacles overextension energy as well. Just say no if you don't want to do something. It's a hard thing, but be honest with yourself, because honesty attracts more honesty, and you're going to just save yourself time and energy in the long run. So lead with integrity, put boundaries down if anyone isn't in your life, and when it comes to commitments, only make a promise that you can keep, okay? Super important, but not always easy to do, because we want to make people happy, right? All right, we have your eyes opening up here with the Eight of Swords in reverse. A lot of things coming into focus now that weren't before. So we just moved from the past to the present, and we have an Eight of Swords card, typically illustrated with a person that has blindfolds on, right? So when the card is reversed, the blindfolds are coming off. You're seeing something clearly. This beautiful illustration shows a bird that has been trained to think that it can't move. But take a look. There's actually an opening in front, and there's no top to this perceived cage. This is a prison of thought. So what we want to remove from the vernacular, particularly in November, is I can't. More in the realm of like, I can't do this thing in my life because I'm afraid, or because maybe people won't like me or whatever. We're going to remove can't and won't, and the fear-based emotions that surround them, particularly when it comes to spreading your wings and trying something new. The universe is encouraging you to ask yourself why not, or how instead. When the can't energy comes through, I cannot do this. It's different if there's a resource limitation versus I'm afraid of failure. The fear part is what I'm really talking about. Move beyond the fear and into the possibilities. And if there's something that you need, how can I do this? When will I do this? And then that's going to help out. Don't ignore something. Both the Two and the Eight of Swords can sometimes be us putting the blindfolds on ourselves and just wishing that something would go away. It won't go away. It's better to deal with it in the here and the now. So it's an awakening card. It's a card that also is encouraging us to ask those questions. And by doing that, a liberation, a moment for you as well. And now we see that you might be getting your flowers. We'll talk about that in a moment. Let's just bring up the future energy here. Six of Cups. As illustrated, we see a playful inner child energy. So you deserve a seat at the table here, no matter what age you are, no matter what stage you are in your life. But the important thing here is to have some fun and not take yourself so seriously that you're maybe afraid of making a mistake or a misstep. It is so important to be playful, be energized, be joyful. This will actually help the work be easier. And by the way, whether or not you're looking for love, it might be knocking on the door. So we see an unexpected opportunity or friendship or partnership ready to come through, as long as you feel ready, willing, and able to connect as well. Some of you are overdue to receive an accolade, to get your flowers. And in this moment, enjoy. If you've worked hard and an opportunity is knocking, answer the door and say thank you very much. There's no room right now for false modesty. It's important for you to, with gratitude and with appreciation, just say yes, thank you. That's what you worked for. You may also have a little bit of a yearning or a longing to connect with friends and family in this period of time, possibly reprioritize. For those of you that have young children or are in love and want to put more energy in the relationship, I get that longing here as well. So whichever of those categories align to you, take that as you will. All right, let's look at the takeaway for this month. Speaking of love and partnership, we're seeing it beautifully coming through here. So the Two of Cups. Two of Cups also reversed, but representing a new connection, a deeper one too, because we have these beautiful sort of lotus petals that are coming through. So it could be platonic, by the way, just a really good friend or really good colleague that comes in and is making life easier. Even if you're not normally like relationship oriented, whether it's networking, friendships, or love, it seems to be presenting itself this month. The only thing to be mindful of is discernment and being picky. So when this card is reversed and the same thing was coming through for the Six of Cups, you have a lot of recalibrating with the reversals this month and next. It's saying, first, sort out who you are and what you want. Second, when something comes in, you don't have to give a fast and furious answer. You can say, let me think about it. So if someone wants to take a relationship to the next level, if they want to promote you, if they want to hang out more with you, somehow leveling up the exchange, you can think about it and then come back and say, yeah, I think I'm on board with this as well. So know yourself. This is also going back to this, making sure that you know that the past is in the past, but we don't want to overcommit. We don't want to say yes if it doesn't feel right. It's okay to say both yes and no, depending on what your heart wants. Know thyself, okay? Ultimately, though, as a takeaway for the month, Two of Cups is fantastic. Lots and lots of recalibration. Very rarely do they all come through like this. Notice here how everything is upright. So November is a month of finding your footing, getting grounded, and in the connection between the 2 months, here's what we have. A beautiful Wheel of Fortune. There's a season and a reason to everything, and I love that we have an upward and a downward energy here, showing that it all has a way to kind of work out. And as I look at the month ahead, I see more upright cards, which is good. So some of you are just sorting out what it is that you want. And now we can start to look at the energy of worthiness, which is definitely Wheel of Fortune. So between November and December, we're seeing now an increased focus on productivity, self-development, less on relationships, and more on creating some action and traction in important things for you in your life. And I'm just glancing down here. I do see like Eight of Pentacles, Ace of Swords. So yeah, you're rolling up your sleeves. You're getting things done. It feels like December, even though it's around holiday season for most of us, will be very busy for you, Pisces, okay? And if you're in this sort of lower energy of the Wheel of Fortune, trying to find a way to catch your breath, it looks like December will be the month where you're starting to see more of that. And in the middle, as you're going between the 2 months, don't expect everything to be perfectly in focus. The wheel keeps turning. You have to keep moving and know that better days are ahead. All right, in the middle, here's the potential block. You may have a lot going on here. So in the block, we have Six of Swords energy. For those of you trying to reach someone, they may be traveling. You may be actually moving in the middle of a move, in the middle of a lot of different things, and you're always on the go. There has to be a few days in each of these 2 months where you are focused and you're tuning in so that you don't miss something. Try to make sure that you're not completely booked when it comes to your social activities, your work, and just life in general. You might be overdue for a vacation, by the way. This can also represent a coming or going, someone that you love in your life that's moving onward and upward, someone that or something that you love also may be coming to a close because this is moving on. So it's not always easy to do that, but these two cards are all about movement, moving and moving on. This is a nice segue to go into month number 2. We're going to look now at the energy of December. And as we do that, we'll go into the energy from the past here, the Page of Cups, and it's reversed. So December's starting off with a little bit of a heavy heart or nostalgic lens. Maybe there's just a lot going on in your life. Slow down for a moment and let it go. Find an outlet, find a channel, talk to someone if necessary. Ultimately, we just see heightened creativity and sensitivity, which is in and of itself good. But we have to look at any sort of past wounds or environmental stresses and try to limit those and heal those so that you can then lean into the sort of creative and connective energy that's part of the page. There could also just be someone in your life that is dumping a lot energetically on you, and you don't have to receive it. You can say, I need some time, I need some space, or I think you should talk to someone, particularly if someone is trying to have you be their sort of therapist, and that's not your job or that's not your inclination. Be kind to yourself, get the support that you need, and this is coming through as a past energy or influence. So I would say this is connected also to what we saw in the previous month. Someone who just knows that they can lean into the emotions that you feel for them and get something more than they maybe should. Okay, so boundaries and self-care as your takeaway here. Now let's take a look at what's coming through in the present position for December. Really good energy, King of Swords. This is a time for action, communication, leadership. The interesting thing here is that we see a little bit of a power grab. So it is important to act when a window of opportunity presents itself. If not, maybe it will come again, but more likely than not, someone else might step into the spotlight. So the spotlight is orienting itself for you, but it's important to be ready and willing to step into it. You have a chance this month also to really see some of the Wheel of Fortune energy as the connection start to really happen. So movement in career, movement in money. If you need or want something, speak up. The King of Swords is all about that. That hand grasping the sword can also say, hey, we need more of this. I need some of your help. So you can, it's almost like a hidden ace in this card. So if you need or want something, ask, but also expect that this is possible. Like say, I'm counting on you for this. Are you ready? You can kind of push a little bit more than just an ace. It's not just a question. It's saying, like, we signed up for this. Let's do it. It's the leadership portion of that. For some of you, there could be a little bit of discomfort or disbelief with the fact that people are tuning into you. They see something that you may not see yet. Lean into it. And you may find that that is a wonderful reflection of possibility. So there's imposter syndrome that I'm picking up for some of you that doesn't need to be there. Your voice, your vision, your action matter. One thing that you want to be careful of, because we do see that hand on the sword, people will hold you to your promises and your contracts, which is why I said don't make them unless you can keep them, okay? Let's move on from the present to the future. We have the Ace of Swords. So you both were present here. I could see the hidden ace coming through, and now we see the promise of that. That's why I think you have an excellent chance of getting what you ask for, an excellent chance of making a splash. This is very, very positive, and it portends good things. You may decide to put all of your focus and energy into one project, one idea, or one person. It looks pretty good from what I can see. For anybody that's creating something, whether it's drafting up a curriculum, writing a book, creating a product or service, coding something if you're an app developer, somehow rolling up your sleeves and creating. This is a fantastic time. I know we're in a month that's typically littered with a bunch of holidays, but you can get so much done throughout that season. Maybe even you're going to use some of that time for yourself. Please do. So much can be done. Don't sleep on December. Invariably, October, November, and December are my busiest months, so I'm not surprised to see this for you, but you can get more done than you expect. Starting something new, signing a contract, getting a house, getting a job, doing something that you've been trying to do, it all culminates for you in this ultimate final month of the year, which is pretty good. All right, let's take a look at the takeaway for December, which is fantastic and beautifully connected to what we were talking about. We have the Eight of Pentacles. It is reversed, so one thing here to think about is where's the block? This is a very unique version of it because we see a beaver and a dam. So there is this, for some of you, a mental block, but there'll be a breakthrough. I feel like part of the breakthrough is just saying, what am I afraid of? Let's just go for this. Imagining that the block is gone, and whatever you need to feel supported, and maybe even just tuning in today was what you needed to know, that there is multiple ways to get this done. Remember that we saw this beautiful Two of Wands. There's more than one way to achieve your end goal, so never underestimate the possibilities, never underestimate yourself, and give yourself a chance to explore these different options, and I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. All right, we have one more card before we get to the expanded forecast, and that is Destiny, and that's where all of this is leading up to. It's time to let go. The Sun in reverse. She's holding on to someone, something, or holding back a little bit, and the encouragement is to just embrace it like we see here. Normally there's a little baby riding on a horse here, but this can be both the birthing, creating, and also the releasing energy. It's all tied into the same card. When it's reversed, it's typically done, baked, and ready, but we're holding on, we're resisting. So don't let it go. You may also be focusing on themes of power and empowerment. And in relationships, the one thing that could come to pass is someone testing to see how much power you have in a situation. So this is why boundaries are so essential right now. Try some new things, have some fun. This is also a child card. Both of these are children in the minor arcana. This one we see illustrated as such, but like I said, normally this is a little baby boy. So your inner child is definitely wanting to come out and play and have some fun. So I would listen. Let's go ahead and take a deeper dive into health, wealth, and love and see what else is coming through in this 60-day period. All right, health, wealth, and love. All right, for health and well-being, we have the Knight of Cups in the upright position, and there's a lot coming his way, as we were talking about. This can represent all of the energy in front of you. There could be pressure from family, from work. You could be just receiving a lot of creative ideas. But as I was mentioning, particularly in the energy of December, it's important to ground yourself, have limits and boundaries. If someone's showing up in a way that doesn't feel right, establish the boundaries, say no. This will set you up to basically tap into, look at the beautiful hearts on his cape, but to tap into your heart space, your intuition, your creativity, your passion. This is going to allow you to shine. And I do think that things are going to pick up with respect to relationships. We're not even looking at love, but it's coming through, especially in the November energy. So if you're ready, I really do feel like this could be a great moment to have a little bit more fun. What I'm getting from guides and messages is just don't take things so seriously. It's okay to be serious, but having a sense of humor, being able to laugh a little bit more, it makes work easier, it makes mistakes more manageable, and it makes life more fun. So I want to see some of that smiling in the heart space, and that happens with like real smiling and real laughter. I do see clearing, cleansing, and cleaning coming through, because when you're looking at that cup and it's kind of like showering him with the energy, you may decide to clean up your diet, to clean out your schedule and activities, and anything that doesn't feel clear, clean, right, it might be time to just let it go. Everything in the flow. Don't force things that are supposed to be happening in your life, whether it's health-related, relationships, or career. It all should be flowing. If you're forcing something, that's something to pay attention to. All right, let's take a deeper dive into this and see how your health is going to look over these 2 months. So in the energy of November, it's a good time to get your eyes or ears checked if it's been a minute. Be honest with yourself and be honest with your healthcare professionals. Seven of Swords is really calling you to act with integrity, transparency, and honesty. Family pressure could be, even though like we would normally associate December a little bit more with family gatherings, there could be a lot going on your social calendar. There's a lot to love with you. Make sure, though, that you love yourself enough to get the rest that you need, to have the boundaries that you need. And in doing so, people will respect you more. It'll create the change and the balance that you need. Because if I could find, I'm half surprised we didn't get like maybe justice here, because it feels like the one thing that's missing is more balance throughout the cards, since a lot of them were reversed. I don't worry about that. I shuffle the cards well, and it's just a matter of what needs to come through. And for many of you, it's time to recalibrate. And from a health perspective, wherever the balance is missing, put the focus there. All right, let's get back into this. So there's something in your life that you may need to release in November, and the sooner you do so, the better. This could be a habit, or it could be an activity or a group of people. Whatever it is, it's time to let it go. Getting the vision and the hearing checked is key. I do see children and family in the picture more than they normally are, or just love and relationships. So finding the perfect balance there could be your biggest challenge. You're overdue for a vacation or a rest. Make sure that you take that and get that. And then I see in December, interestingly enough, for some of you, it's about, there could be a sore throat, but it also could just be confidence in speaking, because I'm being pointed, like they're pointing to the throat chakras. I'm looking at that. So take care of your voice. That's the main thing. And use your voice when appropriate. Speak up, ask questions, get a second opinion if you need to. Okay, the fact that we have love and children and birth coming through, if you're looking to get pregnant, even if you're not looking to get pregnant, this is a good period of time. And we see that it could actually happen between the 2 months. So that's definitely coming forth. Otherwise, I feel like by the end of December, you're actually sitting in a much better place energetically. So give yourself time and be kind to yourself. This is a very sensitive card overall. All right, let's move on from health to wealth. Big changes are afoot. So we have the death card, but the skeleton is holding a skeleton key. So death is also rebirth. When one door closes, another opens. There could be something that you are deciding to close a chapter on, saying, I'm done with this, I'm ready for something else. There might also be something where in order to move forward, you're going to have to make a choice, okay? Let's take a look at this in all of its facets. We'll begin with those of you that are already employed. Things that I like, things that you need to focus on, and everything in between. All right, if you have a job, it's really important right now to not get pulled into the Seven of Swords energy, which can be gossip, which can be doing something that doesn't feel right, isn't right, or you just know is the wrong direction. Listen to your instincts. In November, you have a great ability to network and connect with others. Lean into that. Even if you don't want to see something or someone else doesn't want to, be the voice of reason. It feels like you're going to have a better chance of articulating it in December, but start to get everything organized, and it's better to deal with it earlier than later. Your vision and your voice are the two things that stick out. Vision more as we're looking at November, and voice more as we look at December. There's a chance for leveling up, but it might involve moving. Some of you are just tired of your job and you're looking at moving on. By the end of December, that comes into focus more. You might have to wait the full 60 days before it's signed, sealed, and delivered, because we have the Ace of Swords in the future position there. If you're looking to stay the path, here's what I see. December's a lot easier. In the energy of December, we see ideas coming forth, movement on those ideas, and if anything, we just see a little bit of fatigue. Your power, it's almost like a power cell, is diminished here. So that's why I think taking breaks or taking a vacation is very, very important. I like that Eight of Pentacles came through. We don't have a lot of Earth cards here. I think this is the only Pentacles, aside from the Wheel of Fortune, but you can set together the plan to ask for something, and between the 2 months, put that request out. By the end of December, it looks like you're in a good position. I do think that based on this, if you're not being seen or if people aren't coming through on things, make sure that you're documenting things. Get everything in writing. And again, when that opportunity knocks, go for it. The trickiest of the 2 months is November. Don't overpromise. That's the key takeaway there. And for some of you, you're just maybe feeling stagnation. I want more. I need more. So you're looking at ways to open up possibilities. You have to speak it into existence, and that's what the King of Swords is reminding you. Okay? So let's move on from those that are employed to those that own their own business. Looking at entrepreneurs, it's actually a pretty good period. I love where you're headed. I think the biggest challenge is November. In November, make sure that you are leading with realistic goals and expectations. And if something can't be delivered or if something is changing course, just say it. One of the best PR pieces of advice is lead with the honesty, because then you have less to explain for later and you can shape the narrative. Your biggest strength in November is all of the kind of customer and client and coworker energy that's swimming around in the 2 and the 6 of Cups. A lot of goodwill there, but they want to be recognized a little bit more. So recognize the contributions of coworkers. Say thanks to the vendors. For any of your any customers that are coming through, appreciation is key. So reaching out, giving them coupons, saying thank you, all of that matters. I see additional resources opening up as we go into this final quarter of the year. And it looks like December is the better of the 2 months. Travel is going to be really important to getting something signed, sealed, and delivered. Make sure that you're shipping everything on time. I do see you're ending the year and ending this 2-month period on a better note than you started. So don't give up. Even if it feels challenging, the Eight of Pentacles is great. By the way, this is a written sort of product like a book. This can be a curriculum. For many of you, this might also be something like coursework. So if you're wanting to do training, teaching, or coursework, now is a great time for all of that. And even for those of you that are employed, you might be deciding to further your education. I'm 100% behind that. Okay, so let's move on from entrepreneurs to job seekers. If you're looking for work right now, I think the most important thing to do in November is to make connections, plant those seeds, to send out those resumes. But there are some people that just have posted things that maybe the job is closed, maybe they don't know what they're looking for. they may be a little flaky. I definitely get flaky energy towards the beginning of November, but it improves as the month ends, and there may actually be an offer at the very end that starts to materialize in December. So don't give up hope. Continue to put yourself out there. You may need at least 8 different, you might be juggling 8 different opportunities, so at least 1 or 2 per week, but one of those comes through to fruition. I would encourage you to go to the place where the environment is better. 6 of Cups is a fun group of people, a place where it feels like you could just have a good time, all right? And getting to the one-on-one, if there's any way that you can actually have a face-to-face interview, I know they are few and far between nowadays, but try to get the face-to-face. It really helps create more of a connection, and you have a better chance of landing the job. In December, that's when things start to take off, and it looks like mid to late December, there's a signature on the dotted line. 8 of Pentacles looking pretty good. Make sure that you're bubbling up work experience and education. People are looking for that. It is what you can do, but they also want to know what you've been trained to do. So don't underestimate the importance of training and experience when you're putting your applications out there. The Sun card is interesting because I get, like, again, there could be a position where the pay is high, but the title is low because it is a younger sort of energy. So than like the Emperor. So make sure that you're getting what you deserve and that you're okay with this. If you feel like it could be a growth experience, great. But if you feel like, gosh, I'm taking a step down, that's something to be cognizant of. All right. Moving onward to students. Overall, pretty good. Make sure that your calendar is reasonable. Extracurricular activities may need to be cut in November. I think that also just social calendar may be a little bit heavy. But what I love here overall is you're getting a lot out of this experience. So trimming the fat as you will when it comes to schedule and activities is going to be the most important thing. You may be looking to transfer schools, work abroad, or you might be booking a work experience for the next semester or next summer, and I like that. The travel or this sort of like out of your norm experience is going to be very, very beneficial. Of the 2 months, December is the most productive. I feel like you're going to be fine with your finals here, the 8 of Pentacles. The only thing that's coming through again could be emotional intensity, familial or social pressures coming through. So you want to make sure that you're getting the space to focus on what matters most. Studying at the library, even if there could be a parent that's kind of helicoptering in and getting in the way, shutting that door and getting the work done is really, really important. But overall, a fairly good spread. Now, this is an interesting card for students. You might be deciding to change your major, or you might be deciding that whatever you're going to do next has to be to like change the world. There's an element of change and transformation that comes forth here. For retirees, that Death card takes on a different note, and it's really about what am I going to do that makes a difference? Like, we realize at some point that we don't have forever and ever on the planet. So it's saying the time that remains, I really want to make a splash with it. You might decide to go back to school or learn something new or be a mentor or a mentee. Whether you're training or learning, this is a perfect time, especially in December. As we're looking at November for retirees, I think some of you are feeling like the circles in which you used to run, your old friends, your old connections, you may feel like it's a mismatch. And there's a decision to try to seek out new and exciting connections, so a new direction. It's perfectly normal to grow out of a relationship in your life, a friendship, an extracurricular or volunteer activity. This is also, by the way, if you're newly retired, uncharted territory. You're feeling like the old me is no more. What am I now? What am I next? And you know that I love now and next energy, so don't be afraid to look at the possibilities rather than worrying about like how long you have, because at any phase or any stage of life, we have no guarantees. We just know as we get further along that each day counts a little bit more. So make it count and embrace the possibilities, okay? If you feel like you're at a dead end on something, don't spend one more minute if you don't have to, okay? Let's go ahead now and move on to the next category, which is love, and see what's coming through here. So the general card that I pulled for love was the Queen of Wands. You either feel it or you don't. She's all about passion. And if you're not feeling that spark, then it may not be the right thing for you. So really pay attention to, is the power there? This is boss energy and this is leadership energy, and it's really interesting to come through for relationships. Many of you are finding your stride, and maybe you're getting more outspoken with what it is that you want. I think that's perfect. So don't be afraid to articulate and lead by example. There could be a Leo coming into your life as well. We'll take a look at all of that. We're going to start off with those of you that are presently in a partnership. Here's what I see. The most important thing, and it's coming from the past, is honesty and integrity. It feels like you do resolve this over time, but there could be something that you forgot about and you promised you were going to do and you didn't. Just come forth and say, I'm sorry, that wasn't intentional. It won't happen again. If you said you were going to do something and didn't, just sort of like admit it. If there's something that you need to talk about and haven't, then the environment matters a lot. Talk to your partner in a way that is loving and say, you're my best friend. I love you. I'm dealing with a challenge and I would love your instincts and your support with this. Now you've set it up. And you could say, I'm sorry I haven't talked to you about this earlier. I was just trying to sort out how I felt about it. Something like that. Or just say, I should have come to you sooner. I think I was afraid. You can just, whatever your truth is, I'm giving you examples, but your path, your truth is your own. The thing is, if it's your bestie, if it's your partner, your BFF, they're going to be able to manage this with you, and they'll be glad that you came to the table. Better late than never, right? So lean on each other. Making plans is important. Your partner may just need to feel loved and like they're in the plan for the future. So whatever it is that you want to do next, say, or just even picking up on something that they wanted. Hey, we talked about this trip. When are we going to take it? Do you want to look? Let's see if we can save some money and book out for next summer or whatever. They'll be happy that you remembered. I see you. I appreciate you. I remembered that this was important. Remember the birthdays. Remember the anniversaries. You're going to get brownie points. Plus, it's just good to do in general. I feel like December is a much easier stride in relationships. I think that the challenge here is some of you might need to lean on someone else. And just opening up the conversation is the hardest part. As I said earlier, whether or not you're looking to get pregnant, for those of you that are still in those sort of years where you can have a child, it's possible. I see pregnancy. For everyone else, you could just be reconnecting with the one that you've always loved. This could actually be empty nest syndrome, and there's a need to come back and remember who it was that you fell in love with and having some fun in that playful, passionate energy because, like I said, wands are passion, and the Queen of Wands is more expressive in what it is that she wants and expects. Overall, I quite like what I see here. Work is taking more of a priority in December, partnership more in November. Let's move onward to those of you that are single and looking. So it's actually a decent time to be single and looking, especially during the month of November. I can't underestimate the importance of activities. The Six of Cups doesn't have to be just lovers. It can be the sporting activities that you are involved with, any sort of community activities that you are passionate about. While you're out there doing those sorts of things, you may meet the person that you're looking for because you're not necessarily looking for them. And that's actually part of the secret, is to get involved, get connected, get distracted from needing it so much. You can tell the universe, I'm ready, I'm willing, but when you start to kind of just focus on other things, it happens naturally. And I mentioned earlier that whether or not you were looking, the Two of Cups came through and presented an opportunity. So I feel like part of it is just a little bit of detachment. One thing that the universe is asking you is, what are you looking for? And this has more to do with not so much like the physical part of it. The universe usually knows your type, but it's more about what qualities am I looking for in a lover, in a partner, in someone that I want to get married to if you're that serious. Because when the universe knows how you want something to show up, then it can start to help you find that. So let's go back here to single and looking. I do think options present themselves, but a couple of things to be mindful of in the energy of November. One of the people that comes through is just not ready to commit. And I think you're going to be able to see through that. So if someone is a little flaky, they don't show up, or they don't want to talk about their past relationship, or they just they're lacking some integrity, that's not the one. And it feels like it's more of a friend zone sort of energy anyway. There'll be someone that is exactly on the same page, and I really do feel like it's coming through more in December. We have A beautiful energy coming through as an air sign, so a Gemini, Libra, or an Aquarius. There's a much closer connection there, easier to talk to, and it feels like it's actually the intellectual part that sparks the flame a little bit because you know that they're on the same page as you. So strong energy coming forth with air signs. We also have a Leo coming through here as well. And the interesting thing is there might be something about the youth. So they could have a child, or they could just have this childlike quality. So like a older person with a young sort of vibe, or they're slightly younger than you, maybe even 10 years younger, but they have this old soul. So something about the body and their liveliness sort of is, it's a different package. That's what I'm picking up on, okay? Also a great place for those of you that are working or in school. That's where it's at. Eight of Pentacles is where you're doing your work. So I don't feel like you have to work that hard on finding them. Just put yourself out and mix and mingle a little bit, okay? And now let's look at those that are single and happy. I always like to congratulate people that are, because you have your, it's your own path, it's your own time. In fact, looking at that, I'm really focusing on the Six of Swords. You may decide to level up in school and work and some other aspect of your life. You may decide to travel for work or for life experiences. It feels like overall your big opportunities are getting to know yourself. Seven of Swords is the things that we try to hide from ourselves, and it comes through. And it could be a hidden fear or ambition. And then December is the time where that all starts to come together. So I feel like this could be a very fruitful period in learning, in traveling, and potentially in launching something new. A lot of ships, lots of energy around birthing and releasing. So December looks really potent and powerful if you're single and happy. All right, now it's your opportunity to ask one final question, whatever that might be. Go ahead and send that out to Spirit. I'm going to shuffle the cards and we'll see what's coming forth. All right, we have the Empress in reverse. As a yes or no, it's a yes. However, it's going to be important for you to really kind of step into the driver's seat on this. There could also be a challenge. Someone could ask you why, or do you think you're ready? And you have to really be able to kind of answer that. So before stepping into something new, have that ready. They may just be making sure that you know the trade-off. So like if you were quitting a job, or if you're getting married, or if you're going to move across the world, people want to make sure that you've done your homework and you know what you're getting into or out of. This is also an encouragement now, just broadly speaking, for you to take care of yourself and to put the focus on personal welfare, personal growth, personal development. As we talked about, for some of you, this could come in the form of education. Some of you may also be deciding to just simply reimagine who you are, what you want to do, etc. And a lot of writing and speaking energy coming through with both the Ace and the King of Swords energy. So whatever the next step is for you, fully own it. Not necessarily needing or asking for permission, but instead just announcing it. Say, hey, this is what I'm going to do. I'm excited. I hope you are too. You don't have to ask permission. If you know it's what you want, you could just announce it. And that's the final message here. All right, everybody, I hope you enjoyed today's reading. It was so nice to see what everything is going to shape up for in this final part of the year. If you did enjoy this, do me a favor. Liking is free, so is subscribing. So if you've been a long-time watcher but have never hit the subscribe button, it's free and it helps the channel. I just want to say thanks. Again, you can hit the thumbs up once, and you can also leave a comment. Another way to give back is through leaving a sticker with your comment or becoming a member. Either way, thank you as well, because the only way that I can do this is with your love, support, and participation. So however it works for you, thank you. To make sure that you never miss out on a future video, I would encourage you to follow me on at least one other social media platform. About 95% of them are all my full name, Nicholas Ashbaugh. You can go to my website if you need to see all of the official links. I'm also on Blue Sky, and it's actually the same link as my website, which is nicholasashbaugh.com. And that's everything for today. Thank you so much for being the best part of what I do here on YouTube. Why don't I grab Apollo and we'll wrap up for today. All right, Apollo was just getting up from his nap, but he doesn't mind showing himself here for the last minute or two. Thanks, everybody. Take care of yourselves. I'll see you very soon.